Yeah, hello everyone. Today let's talk about environment analysis for market. In my first video, I tried to explain in detail about what marketing and sales is all about and how marketing and sales in hospitality play a very important role in the designing of products and further selling the products, taking the products to the right consumers so that consumers can satisfy their various needs. So, what is a marketing environment? Marketing environment is the combination of external and internal factors and forces which affect the company's ability to establish a business and serve its customer. So, here we can understand it is basically a situation which is again a combination which has lot of inputs, lot of factors, lot of forces which somehow affect the whole equation of business, wherein the products are being designed or being catered to the customers in the way those forces or factors act. So, marketing environment of business consists of internal and external environment, as we just spoke about. Okay, let's understand more in detail what could be the components and what is the importance of a marketing environment. So, there are many factors which affect the performance of a business. It could be internal in the form of employees, or it could be external in the form of competitors. Okay, let's understand what do we understand by internal as well as external environment of marketing in any company. So, okay, when we were talking about the factors which affect the performance of a business, it could be internal, as we spoke in the internal environment, it could be material, it could be budget, or an external, it could be suppliers or competitors along with the customers. So, the various combination which create the forces, it is commonly referred as a marketing environment. So, as a business leader, you need to have an ability, or as a business manager, as a marketing manager, or a sales manager, you need to have an ability to see the forces, to foresee the forces, and you need to have a power to control those forces. But honestly, I feel internal factors could be something which are in the control of any manager, but the external factors which affect the company in very large format, often they are not in the control, they are beyond the control. These factors fluctuate often from time to time, and it is very important that a lot of necessary changes company needs to adapt as per the marketing needs, or as per the consumer needs, or as per the market forces needs. So all the external and internal elements sway the business performance in their unique way. Similarly, they can vary at any moment without any prior warning. So here we understand these forces are very dynamic in nature. So nobody can foresee them or nobody can plan. They can just be calculated with the right format, or with the right understanding of business. As we understand, the capability of a business management involves a very important role to develop and maintain a profitable and long term relationship with the customer. It also depends a lot how the manager is looking forward to influence the variables of marketing environment. So the business manager's ability is not just to maintain a relationship. His ability also lies in creating an influence, which further on can create a difference in the marketing environment. So the assortment of such factors are often manageable. Okay, let's understand more in detail what marketing environment and what kind of threat and opportunities it lies in it. First and foremost, it has political, then second regulatory, and third social environment sector. So when we are talking about political environment, it comes from outside and it actually creates a lot of format for the company or guidelines for the company, or it refers to a political structure of a company or political structure of the economy in which the company is. So whenever there would be lack of direction in any ongoing activity of a company, or if there would be any instability. So, political environment can largely affect the business. Then comes the regulatory. Regulatory falls a lot with the documentation and licensing of a company. So, again, it flows from inside the company to out. So technically, you need to be very, very strong with your licenses. So if there is any, lack of any documentation at the time of formation of company, or any policy which has not been laid rightly, and not being laid rightly among the internal employees, general public, even with consumers, customers, competitors, or business intermediaries, they basically create a lot of havoc. So, when we are talking about regulatory, all the paperwork, all the documentation needs to be in a very, very right format. Then comes social. Social means you need social again. It is within the organization, and the flow of its environment is from company to the society. So again, with a lot of changes in values, norms, ideas, and outlook of your consumers, you will have certain responsibility towards them. At times, it is commonly known as corporate social responsibility. So, these attributes go in the society from company. So, let's understand over here. Political, this format is already there in the society. It comes and then it impacts your business largely. So you need to follow the social scenario, the political scenario, the cultural scenario of the company in the country as per the law. Regulatory would be again the implication by law. Then comes social, that is you being part of the social system and being able to comply to the society, because society has contributed a lot in your company. You need to give back to the society. So let's understand the environmental influences on hospitality organization. When we are talking about environmental influences, that has a lot to do with the business philosophy. So, what primarily we understand as a business philosophy? The first business philosophy is just to make money, just to make product, or just to be able to sell that product or material in the right marketplace with the right men and machinery involved, so that the right money can be generated. So here we can understand the famous 5 M's. They come, or they play a very, very important role in influencing the environment. Because when you'll have a right people working for your company, when you'll have right inflow of money, when you will have right material in place, right market being tapped, that is where you can talk about real men working for you. So again, the whole synchronization comes or flows from macro to micro level in the environment. And again, it plays a very, very important flow in influencing the decisions of marketing in the hospitality business. Let's understand what is micro environment or what is micro environment. In any organization, there are two type of environments to talk about. Macro, the broader perspective to it, and micro would be in detail. How in detail the company look like, the policies of the companies look like. But every time we need to keep in mind the marketing success, we need to keep in mind the internal planning, we need to keep in mind the marketing strategy, we need to keep in mind the launch of product and services, which needs to have a right approval by the public. So technically we are talking about the brilliantly laid out plan of marketing, which has been handled in every small detail at a micro level and been catered to the political regulatory body, environmental, technological, socio-culture, or economic in the macro environment. So right from the smallest of the detail The plan of a company is being laid out to the segments it is going to influence to. That is what the microenvironment and macroenvironment is all about. Then comes the political environment of a company. Okay, political environment in nutshell, how it looks like. Well, whenever we talk about political environment, we need to always keep in mind the corporate side of environment. Let's understand what political direction of a country determines towards the consumers and the commercial organizations, and how they lay a platform for the organizations to act further on. The political environment basically foster and encourage the tourism or the hospitality industry in such a format so that it can create a positive climate for the consumers, and it can inhibit the development of the tourism and hospitality businesses, and it can absorb and restrict the wrong undertakings which has been absorbed by many companies, so that there is a healthy competition in the economy. And with the constantly changed or dynamic environment, companies are being able to upgrade themselves with the right political as well as government support. So government basically do a lot of work. They try to encourage a lot of policies for the companies to grow their business in tourism and hospitality business, so that they can cater to their customers and they can contribute a lot in the economic growth of a company. So it is always a vice versa, where companies are benefiting the economy, and economy through its political policies is creating a direction for them to grow. Then comes the economic environment. Economic environment, let's understand a bit about economy. So, economy, what economy is, when we are talking about economy, we are basically trying to understand the income, we are trying to understand the inflation rate in the economy, we are trying to understand the employment rate or unemployment level. At the end of the day, we are technically trying to understand the flow of money in the economy, so that how much the pockets of the consumer is lubricated enough in the format where consumer is being able to absorb the products and services which are being offered by the companies in the hospitality sector. So in economics, or the economic influences could be the state of the economy. Is it positive? Is it growing? Is it struggling? Is it in recession? Or the structure of employment or the level of unemployment. It has a lot to do with the per capita income in the economy and the stability of the employment in the economy. Then the rate of inflation lies to how much the indexes of prices are being controlled by market forces. If they are very fluctuating, it leads to very high level of inflation, and how strong the exchange rate is. Like for example, often we wonder why dollar is so strong, or why dollar is picking up so high, why, let's say, in comparison to dollar the Indian rupee is going down. So when the exchange rate of any currency of any company of any country is going down, it is talking a lot about its stability, its business stability. So again, economic environment play very important role in determining the future plans and thereby determining the marketing strategies of any company or its marketing environment or its business environment within any economy. Then comes the socio-cultural environment. The socio-cultural is basically a mix. It's a complex mix of geography, climate, history, religion, ethnic origin. When we are talking about ethnic origin, what does it mean? It means there are a lot of cultural inhibitions or cultural differences between the company. There are a lot of cultural attributes as well as attitudes people carry along with them, which further interfere with their choices, which further interfere with their tastes and preferences, which interfere a lot with their education and exposure. It is a very, very natural factor. It talks a lot about the upbringing or your exposure towards the consumption of a particular kind of product. When we are talking about hospitality, we are talking about leisure, or we are talking about absorbing something which is not really needed. It is a demand which is created by the companies to satisfy a need which is not existing maybe, or a need which is being developed through endorsements of marketing campaigns or advertisements or promotions, or through public relationship campaigns, where a lot of marketing brains are putting the words in your mind, or putting the need in your mind and generating the need in the mind of a customer. But whenever we are trying to generate that kind of need in a customer, we need to understand whether the customer's mind is ready to absorb that kind of need or no. So it is very, very crucial for any marketing campaign to obtain a success through its quality or experience or efficiency by determining the socio-cultural environment, by determining the greatest challenge which any developing global brands would be undergoing, that is to understand the climate, history, and religion of that very economy or that very place or that very ethnicity where the people are living, or the income and lifestyle and their safety and health factors they have, or its impact or its knowledge on their life. So technically we are just trying to understand the origin of a person. We are just trying to understand his complex mix of ethnicity, his habitat, his habits, and the whole detailed understanding in the socio-cultural profile. Then comes the technological environment, how it plays a very, very important role. As information communication technology is very, very innovative and it's closely associated with the development of hospitality sector, there are a lot of acts, there are a lot of government guidelines, but at the same time they play very, very important role in creating a major influence in the choice, or creating that choice in the mind of a customer. So they are major influencers as they are growing very, very sophisticatedly through computerization of reservation services and the development of global distribution network worldwide, where world has become a global village where you can look forward to receive a demand of your product, maybe from Fifi Islands, or maybe from Fiji, or maybe from any island of Indonesia, where habitat would be very, very less, but at the same time there would be a lot of people who are looking forward to explore maybe something new. So technically when we are talking about global village with the use of internet, or with the commercial use of internet, we are talking about the ability of your kitchen equipments, or your ability of your room, or ability of taste buds of your restaurant being going places. So here we are talking about the improvisation in the techniques of food production over the years through advancements in kitchen equipments and the development of in-hotel computerized systems. So when we are talking about in-hotel computerized systems, maybe we are talking about the customization of the hotel rooms as per the comfort as well as security of guests. So technology brings in a lot of efficiency in the way the style, the services and products are being designed and being served to the customers. Then comes the environmental influence. Environment influence, I guess the very, very right format in which we can understand the environment influence, we need to understand the product development and its evolvement process. When we are talking about product development, we need to understand the requirement, like technically, we need to understand the place where the hotel or where the serving, where the restaurant is. So we need to identify the place, we need to identify the distribution channel. So when we are identifying the distribution channel, we need to understand how it is associated with the tourism industry, how it is catering to the mass tourism or a class tourism or a niche tourism, how it is contributing in the pollution as well as contributing in the revenue through tourism. So here we are talking about plus and minuses. We are talking about negatives as well as positive side of the place or the distribution dynamics of geographical environment being involved in any place. So we are talking about the sustainability. We are talking about the pleasure side of the story. We are talking about the industry's environmental policies and hotel and restaurant policies and its reputation in that area. So when we are talking about environment, we are talking a lot to do with the right product development, keeping in mind the need of the respective industry. We need to keep in mind the marketing policy, its promotion, its communication, its innovation involved, and we need to embrace the new market technologies so that product is being rightly designed and being catered to the right consumer at the right time, keeping in mind the government policies. Then comes the micro environment of the organization. When we are talking about micro environment, as we spoke earlier, micro environment has a lot to do with the customers, employees, suppliers, and intermediaries and external factors, has a lot to do with the government side. So when we are talking about the microenvironment in detail, we are talking about maybe stakeholders as well. We are talking about the consumers, how rapidly they are being more demanding, and how the products can be customized in the format where consumers are being able to grab the right product which is being right packaged and being delivered rightly. Here, when we are trying to target to suppliers and intermediaries, we are trying to introduce in the current marketing strategy involved, in which we are trying to embrace them very, very closely, maybe through ERP control systems or by benefiting them with the smallest of the detail so that they are being connected with the company and they are being able to strengthen the product line of a company. Then at the macro level, as we'll grow further, we will talk a bit about the best framework in the organization, how best framework plays very, very important role in developing the macro environment. And in our previous slide, we spoke about what all components are there in the macro environment. So let's talk a bit more about the micro side of the story. So when we are talking about micro environment, not just the product designing, not just the innovation, not just the initiative which is involved in designing the right marketing strategy, intensive training which has been required for the people working for you, that is also part of micro environment. Embracing new technologies for their development, and your product development can also play a very, very vital role or very vital tool in upgrading your company. So the grave danger could be lack of innovation, or especially when we are talking about product development and marketing departments, lack of contribution of the people of your organization, which will further bring your business to become dull, stagnant, boring, or it will lack the ability to withstand the changes requirement or constantly required by this dynamic industry. So we need to understand why microenvironment is so important, or why the balance of every ingredient or every particular is very important in maintaining the right microenvironment. As we identified, microenvironment caters to every small detail which is related to your consumer, employees, suppliers, intermediaries. The place where it impacts the most, that is, they are your stakeholders. So, who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders are the people who invest in your company for continuously bringing in investments so that you can upgrade the level of your company to outstand the competition or to outstand the marketing challenges or to outstand the market challenges. They often help in informing the current strategies and counterfeiting with the external marketing environments. They try to make you more compatible with your current strategy and they try to look at the overall goal and objective your company has. So, stakeholders are the people who tweak from time to time and they make you more dynamic and they make you more on the toes for the successful strategy or the successful framework to be in place. Now, let's understand the external marketing environment. External marketing environment has a lot to do with the government or maybe through the external market forces or the competition, how it influence a lot with the decision of any company's marketing decision or sales decision. So when we are talking about the macro, in macro it has a lot to do with the general public. What kind of communication or brand goodwill your company is taking to the society? What kind of communication it is taking to the government? What kind of influence government's policies will further have on your business? So when we are talking about customers, in micro, customers are not just the people who are typically going to consume your product at one go. They are your consumers, right? Customer would be the person who would be repeatedly coming to your company again and again and again to satisfy his particular need. So, the repeated consumer becomes your customer because customer is contributing in making your profits. So when we are talking about customer, we need to always assess his needs and demands so that we are continuously on our toes to comply to it. Then comes the employees. When we are talking about employees, we need to continuously work on upgrading their skill sets so that we are being able to improvise on the content of our employees and thereby we are able to create a major influence in the level of our internal customer satisfaction and therefore our external customer satisfaction. Employees are considered to be the internal customers to the company and external customers are the people who as consumer help generate profits to the organization. Then comes your suppliers or channel partners. In the microeconomics or in the micro environment, suppliers they are very involved and they are very important decision makers because they help you being operational, they help you being more on your toes and they are the people who are responsible for handling relationship with your external marketing communication or your marketing agencies or maybe directly with your consumers at times. So their upgradation, their satisfaction plays very important role. Then comes intermediaries. When we are talking about intermediaries, intermediaries are the points from where the company gets business. So you can understand these as our channel partners like travel agents, tour operators, placement agencies, or marketing managers who are cultivating the business for you, who are cultivating the long-term relationships with you, or who are cultivating the long-term relationships with your consumers or potential consumers, or at times with potential intermediaries who can further help creating a value chain for your company, where your company is not just getting benefited with a single sales point, it helps growing company. Then comes your competitors. We often feel how competitive is important to grow our company or how competitor is important or the analysis of competition is important for growth of any company. Well, let's say if there's no competition, why would there be a zeal for upgrade? If there is no zeal for upgrade, how can we talk about companies doing well? How can we talk about shareholders being or stakeholders being happy about it? How can we talk about they not being ready with the latest developments and trends and they are not helping you focusing on attaining your goal? So technically, healthy competition or healthy competition analysis helps you being on your toes. They help you create or formulate a right marketing strategy or method which you can use to attract more customers. It can also help you modify your strategy or incorporate some of the techniques your competitors already using for a great effect. Then let's understand what market demand is and how market demand look like. So market demand is what? Our business? Or market demand is something, your upcoming business opportunity. So I believe market demand is something, the right assessment of the business you have in hand and the prospective business what you can generate through the right marketing strategies. So the evaluation of both further helps you understanding more about business. Then let's understand the market demand in hospitality. Market demand in hospitality has a lot to do with the price of the pocket of a customer, his ability to consume the product and services. Since we are dealing with hospitality, we are dealing with the leisure industry. So let's understand here what market demand in hospitality broadly looks like. It has a lot to do with the business travel, leisure travel, domestic travel, or international travel. Because when we are talking about hospitality, travel and tourism industry is the main industry we are talking about. Then we are talking about the products which are further being part of the travel industry or tourism industry. So technically, whenever we are talking about all these peripheries, we are talking about the main area or the primary need of the consumer, which could be if he's a business traveler, he's looking forward to attend some exhibitions or seminars, or if he's a leisure traveler, he's looking forward to have some holidays or weekend breaks. And if he's on a domestic travel, then he would be having some business interest lying somewhere. Or if he's an international traveler, either it would be tourism or it would be international visits or it would be some popular tourist destination which is attracting some further visitors, which is part of tourism. So when we're talking about market demand and hospitality, every product shapes up like that, wherein we are trying to understand the key need of a consumer. When we are trying to understand the need of a consumer, that is where we distinct our product, that our product lies in which category, for what consumer type, what is the primary need, and the secondary would be how your product is being designed to cater to those needs and then being able to comply to the attributes the consumer is looking forward to achieve from. Like, for example, a leisure traveler or a person who is on a domestic or a person who is on international travel, or maybe a vis-a-vis a person who is on a domestic travel or a business travel will have distinct needs. How the company is being able to cater to those distinct needs is where the product designing plays very important role. In addition to it, the economic environment of any economy, the physical environment of any economy again plays very vital role in helping business grow or influencing the purchasing behavior of the people living in it. So let's say if the company has a very high inflation rate, we cannot talk about a very high growth in the hospitality industry over there. At the same time, physical environments like a country has the less availability of water, the atmosphere is not good, or the climatic conditions are very abrupt, or the environment change is on a very higher side. That is where the marketing strategy gets very tricky, because then your company is constantly needs to struggle. Then the political and legal factors, and cultural factors, technological factors, which we spoke in detail about, how important or how vital role they play to help your company grow, achieve right standards for its growth. So, in the end, what we can assess a marketing manager must consider the internal as well as external factors while formulating the marketing strategy. A marketing manager has a responsibility or he plays a very pivotal role in the business activity or in the product development by identifying the needs of a customer, keeping a regular track of what customer wants or what the right relevant marketing strategy would look like and how profitable the marketing strategy would be for the company. So, in the end, the marketing environment analysis is the analysis of internal as well as external factors who can help developing a right company structure, culture, policies, guidelines for its employees, its consumers, its channel partners, and it supports the company in detail. When we were talking in detail about micro and macro, we did speak about the pest factors. So, pest factors are what? Pest factors are prepare marketing environment analysis. So, these are basically the factors which help you identify the opportunities. They help you identify the threats in the organization or for the organization, and they help you taking the action so that you are being able to assess the right threats and you have been able to take the right action. So, pestil analysis is a widely used tool these days in the external environment because it consists of political, economic, social, technological, legal, as well as environment factors. And these factors or the study of these factors help you creating an opportunity which help you assess the opportunities and threats for the company. So every organization who has a very detailed assessment of internal as well as external factors always been able to create a right marketing strategy for its business growth. With this note, thank you so much for today. I hope this particular presentation or this description was helpful to you. Thank you.